Hello everyone, welcome to the online lecture series on Verilog HDL. So in the previous sessions we had looked in terms of how to use Xilinx ISE, right. Out of that we had looked only in terms of how to create a project and how to write down a Verilog code. We had taken one simple example like an AND gate we had taken in the previous session, and then we looked into this logic synthesizer, how actually once you synthesize your code, how actually the actual your HDL code is being converted into the logic circuits, right. So in today's session we shall look into the verification part we had not done in terms of in the previous session. We had looked only in terms of synthesizing the code, but in today's session we shall look in terms of how to verify the design what you have created, whether it is going to work properly or not. So how actually it is being done, that we are going to see in today's session. Okay. So here in today's session what actually we will be learning is that in order to verify the design we will be writing the one more set of Verilog code. We call such type of Verilog codes as, we usually refer them as test benches. So how actually these test benches are going to refer, or how actually these are going to work, that we are going to see in this today's session. So let us jump on to the our Xilinx ISE. So this is the code what we have written in the previous session, right. So we had taken two inputs, that is A and then B, and then one output Y. So we have declared our inputs and then outputs in the terminal ports itself. As we had said, don't just give the port names, please specify whether it is an input or output. Make sure that this is the actually how actually we are going to write down the code. Don't declare here like writing here with just declaring the port names and then declaring whether it is an input port or output port over here. This is not recommended. I am telling you multiple number of times, please don't go with such way of writing the code, or such a style of writing the code. Okay. So we have written this code in terms of data flow model. So let us look into how to write down this test benches. So how actually these test benches are going to work, let us see how actually these are going to work. So now what we are going to do is that let me take we have a design. So we had seen in terms of what logic synthesizer. So we had two input ports, that is A and then B, and then we had one output port, that is going to be Y. So once we look in terms of what is there actually inside this, so we had an AND gate, right. So this is an AND gate and its output is being connected to where? It is being connected to Y, and then its inputs A and B are connected like this, right. So this is what we have seen in the previous session. So now how actually these test benches are going to work is that we said that we are going to write one more set of code, we call those as test benches, right. So this whole design what we are having over here, this particular this thing, this is what this what we call, usually we call it as DFT, so or DUT, right. So DUT in the sense what? DUT in the sense it is design under test. So this is what we are going to test, right. So we usually call it as what? DUT. DUT stands for design under test. So again we said that we are going to write one more set of code. So what we are going to do is that we are going to write down one more set of code. We call this as TB. Okay. So TB is nothing but what? TB is general abbreviation for your test bench. Okay. So in test bench what we will be having, usually we will be having, we need to generate inputs, right. How these test benches are connected in the sense, So let me take this as what, let me consider this as, I will name this particular port. So I need two different inputs to be driven from here. So from test bench, what I am going to do is that from test bench I am going to drive my inputs to this particular DUT. So I am feeding the inputs for this particular DUT, so that DUT will extract those inputs, and then I am going to check whether it is going to work properly or not through output port Y, right. So I need some monitor, right, in order to test whether it is going to work properly or not. So usually what we are going to do, I need to generate inputs. So in order to generate inputs, I need some registers, right. So I need to drive whether I should drive 0 or whether I should drive 1. So usually driving these inputs will be done in terms of registers. So I will be using some two different registers over here. Let me name this register as X, and I will name this register as let me take another this thing. So let me name this as M, okay, and I will take one more register as N, and then I need to monitor, right. I need to monitor whether it is going to work properly or not. I need to see the output. So in order to see the output, I will take one more port over here. Let me name that port as I will name this as P. Okay. So here I will be having what? I will be having M over here, register M, and then register N, and here I will be having what? I will be having some wire. We will be here in order to see the output, I am not storing anything. So if I want to store some values, then I need registers, or in order to generate some values I need registers. But since I am not storing and then I am not generating this output port, so what I will be doing, I will be naming this output port as what? I will be naming this as wire. Okay. So once this thing is ready, once your inputs are ready, so I will be connecting this A port to what? I will be connecting this A port to this register M, and then I will be connecting this N port to what? I will be connecting this to register N, okay, and then my output port is being connected where? It is being connected to P. So this is how the actual test bench environment works, okay. So what actually we will be doing in test benches, here in the test benches itself, what we are doing in the test bench itself, we will be generating our inputs. So in order to generate inputs, I will be taking two different this thing, register M and then register N, and then in order to verify my output, so I will be using what? I will be using wires, okay. Now once your test bench environment is ready, so I need to I think most of you have understood this concept, how actually these test benches are going to work and how actually we are going to do the connections, okay. So usually, since here we have taken two different names M and N, usually we will be naming same input ports itself, because confusion must not happen when we are trying to instantiate this thing. See, what actually we are having in test bench environment, we will be taking a copy of this, okay. A copy of this will be present inside my TV. So taking copy, what we will be calling? We will be calling it as what? We will be calling it as instantiation, okay. We will be calling it as instantiation. So in order to instantiate this thing, we will be instantiating the main design file, or this design under test, that will be present inside your TV, okay. So let us take that, and let me go back to my Verilog HDL, okay. So here let us look again what we need to do in order to simulate the thing, in order to verify the thing. As we said, we need to perform, we need to add these test benches, right. So I will be going to project, and then again I will be going to new source. So once new source, in order to write down the design file, we had chosen Verilog module, right. If you want to test, or if you want to write down the test bench, then we need to choose what? We need to choose Verilog test fixture, Okay, this is for writing your TBs. So I had given name for the previous file. I had given the name gate underscore test. So I'll write what I'll write the same name, but for this particular file, what I'll be doing, I'll be giving one more extension. I'll be giving it as underscore TB. So TB here, what here underscore TB, TB stands for your test bench file. So it will be easier to locate the files. What file you are having, again the extension for both the files. If you are writing in terms of design file or if you are writing in terms of test bench file, the extension for this thing will be always .v format. .v stands for .verilog. Okay, so I'll be writing this as test bench. So here it is asking me actually which this thing you want to test. Since I have this module present over here, the module what we have taken over here, that module, that is an gate underscore test. This is the design file what we had written in the previous session, right. So I need to choose that particular session. So I'll be choosing gate underscore test, and then I'll be hitting next, and then I'll be hitting finish. So what it is going to do, once you hit finish, it is going to automatically instantiate that particular port. Okay. So here you can observe over here module gate underscore test underscore TB. As we said, we will be having what? We will be having registers, and in the previous this thing itself we had said, right. Here usually we will be naming it as what? We will be naming with the same ports itself. So instead of VM, what we will be having is that instead of VM, I will be having this as A itself, instead of N, I will be having it as B itself, and this is going to be Y. Okay. Now once this thing is ready, so as you can observe over here, this is register A, register B, and then wire Y. Since I am driving inputs, my inputs will be what? My inputs will be registers, and since I am only observing the output, my output will be what? It will be wire. See here you can observe gate underscore test, how to instantiate this thing, how to instantiate the files, how actually it is being done, that we are going to see in module 2. Okay, how to do the port connections and all those things, that we are going to study in detail in module 2. Once we will start off with the module 2, then you can understand how actually this is being done. So I will be skipping this part, how to instantiate the file. Okay. So let us try to understand how to drive the inputs. See here you can observe A is equal to 0 and then B is equal to 0. So initially it has taken what? It has taken A is equal to 0 and then B is equal to 0. Now how actually the timing diagram works is that how actually we need to observe the files, right. So we will be observing these files in terms of what? In terms of timing simulations, in terms of times we are going to observe. Let me take this as my file. Okay. So here let me name this port as A and then this port as B, and then I have three different ports A, B, and then Y. And we know that our truth table for AND gate is A, B, and then Y. So how actually you are going to see, this is going to be 0 0 0 1 1 0 and then 1 1. So these are the 4 different combinations what we are going to drive for our inputs, and based on this what we will be having, I need to observe my output as 0 0 0 1, right. So this is my truth table for my AND gate. Okay. So I need to see if you look at this condition, so let me take different color over. If I want to specify this, so first what I will be doing, so instead of this here what we will be having is that we will be having different types of time simulations. So the initial timing is what? If we have taken in terms of nanoseconds, so let us consider that timing is in terms of nanoseconds. Okay. So initial timing is 0 nanosecond, and then here after some time it is going to be 5 nanoseconds, and then 10 nanoseconds, and 15 nanoseconds, and then 20 nanoseconds, and then 25 nanoseconds, and then 30 nanoseconds. So let us see that these are the 3 different different timing simulations or timing this thing. Okay. So we have taken till simulation, we have done this simulation part is being done in terms of 30 nanoseconds. Okay. So let me draw this. Okay. Now if I want to have 0 0, I want to drive. So I'll be driving this 0 0 till what? I will be driving this 0 0 in terms of what? I'll be driving till 5 nanoseconds. Okay. So after 5 nanoseconds, what I'm going to do? I'm going to make my another combination. So I'll be keeping my A as 0, and then I should make my B as what? I should make my B as 1. Okay. So I'll be keeping this as constant. Okay. A I'll be making it as 0 only, and then B, what I'll be doing? I'll be making B as 1. Okay. So this is here we will be done with one set of condition, and then here we will be done with another set of condition. So I need one more set, so that is going to be 1 0. So in 1 0, what happens? In 1 0, your A should be 1. So I will be making what? I will be making my A as 1 over here, and then I will be making my B as what? I will be making my B as 0. So this is what here we are going to see our third condition. Okay. So fourth condition is what? Fourth condition, it is going to be 1 1. So I will be making, since A is 1, so I will be making A as 1, and then I will be making my B as what? I will be making my B as 1 itself. Afterwards I will be making the other condition, that is going to be 0 0. So based on this, based on this particular format, I need to derive what? I need to derive my output. So for A is equal to 0, B is equal to 0, what should be my output? It should be 0. When A is 0 and then B is 1, again my output should be 0, and for third condition also it is going to be 0. But when both the inputs are high, so it is going to be what? It is going to be 1 at this particular stage. Okay. So now how to drive these inputs? So I think you might have understood how actually the simulation waveform works. So how to drive the inputs, that we are going to see here. So driving the inputs, as we said, it is going to be 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. So here please specify how many number of bits you are having. Xilinx usually gives something like this 0 0 0 1. Okay. Please don't give in terms of 0 0 itself, please give it in terms of how many number of bits it is having. How to write? I am using only one single bit, one tick, what we will call this as tick, one tick, and then the format what I am going to use is binary format. So I will be using B and then the value for that binary number. Okay. So and then here again B, I need to drive it as one tick B 0 itself. So 0 0 what we are driving. There is no this thing, no wrong with writing with this particular format. Okay. So driving with this particular format, what it does is that Xilinx will consider the input as a 32 bit input. So simply driving 32 bits in input, I am using only 1 bit, whereas 31 bits are of waste, right? So we should make sure that we should not waste any of the bits. So I am specifying it clearly that you please consider only 1 bit format. Okay, that is why here I have taken 1 tick B0. If you are having 2 bits, usually how we will write? I will be specifying the number of bits 2 and then tick and then binary format 0 0. This is how we are going to drive the inputs. Okay. So here let me consider this as 1 bit itself. So this part what we are having, this is the part at 0 simulation time. So how much time I need to give the values? How much time I need to give the values? I need to give it for 5 nanoseconds, right? So till 5 nanosecond, after 5 nanosecond it is going to change. You can observe over here, after 5 nanoseconds it is changing, A is being 0 and then B is being 1. Okay. So I need to add that particular time delay. So how actually we are adding time delays? We will be adding with the hash and then how much delay you want. If you want 5 nanoseconds, then this thing will be hash phi. If you are going for 10 nanoseconds, then you give how much time delay you want, that number should be specified over here. Since I am giving only 5 nanoseconds, what I will be doing, hash phi, and then what I will be doing, a is equal to, a is being 0 over there, so I will be writing it as 0 only, and then b I need to give it as what, I need to give it as 1 tick b1. Okay. So let me copy this, same this thing we are going to repeat for another set of times. So in the third set what we are having, I am having 0, a is being 1 and then b is being 0, and the fourth set both are 1 1. You can observe over here, let me take this in terms of this. Okay, you can observe over here a0 b0, a0 b1, and then a1 b0 and a1 b1. Okay. So how much time, so here what I will be doing, I need to specify, after this you give some 10 nanosecond and then it has to finish off. Okay. So I need to give this something called dollar finish. So dollar finish, what it does, you can observe over here. So this is for 0, and then this is 0 plus 5 5, and then 5 plus 5 10, 10 plus 5 15, and then 15 plus 10 25. From 0 to 25 nanosecond it is going to work, and then it will come out of that particular simulation environment. Okay. In simulation environment what happens, you can observe that. So after 25 it is going to come out here. Okay. So 25, after 25, let me save this file. Okay. Once we have saved, where actually to simulate the things, here you can observe over here at the left hand corner above hierarchy, view is in terms of what, it is in terms of now simulation, but implementation. Okay. So if you want to do the design, then what we are going to do, I will be using this as implementation part, but if I want to simulate the thing, then I will be using what, I will be using simulation. Since I need to verify the design, right. So in order to verify the design, I will be using what, I will be using simulation. And you can observe that the test bench has the file test bench gate underscore test underscore tb has come over here. Okay. In implementation it is only, since we have written design file gate underscore test, so here it is in terms of gate underscore test, but when it comes to simulation it has been given what, it has been given gate underscore test underscore tb, and we had said that automatically it will instantiate itself, right. So a copy of that thing. So if you look at this thing here, what we had said, a copy of this particular file will be present, where it is going to be present inside this tb, right. So a copy of that particular file should be there, na? So a copy of that particular file has been called over here. After, so this instantiation, what it does, it will take a copy of that particular design file, and then it will keep save in it itself, and then it is going to connect those particular things. So if you want to see how actually TB is, now you can observe that this whole, this thing is what, this particular this thing is our test bench environment. Okay, this particular whole this thing. So this is what, this is your TB environment. I will call this as TB underscore env. Okay. So in TB environment what we will be having, I will be having a file which is design underscore under test, and then I will be having these registers in order to drive my inputs. Whole this thing will be present inside what, it is going to be present inside this particular environment. The whole this thing what we call it as TB environment. So now once this thing is ready, so here you can observe in this process tab or design tab, here you can observe iSim simulator in the left hand corner. Okay. So just click on this plus symbol what you are observing over here, you can observe this tiny plus symbol, right. Just click on that tiny this thing. First we need to check whether any syntax errors are there in our code or not. Okay. So in order to check that, so I will be double clicking on this behavioral check syntax. Okay. Now here you can observe in the console, you can observe process behavioral check syntax completed successfully. So once this has been completed successfully, I need to simulate. Okay. In order to simulate the things, you can observe simulate behavioral model. Just double click on this simulate behavioral model. So you will be open up with a waveform window, the window what we had seen over here, right? How actually we have written this particular file, and the same type of this thing will be present over here, where it is. So let me check. Okay, it is here. Okay, here you can observe waveform format is what? It is WCFG. Here you can observe default WCFG. Just click on this tab and then here you can observe. As we said, it is going to stop at what? It is going to stop at 25 nanoseconds. Here you can observe this is for zooming in and then this is for zooming out, okay, and this is for default, okay, full view. Just click on this full view format and then you can observe your waveforms. Okay. Here these are your two different input ports. Okay, let me bring down this down. Okay. So you can observe over here input port here A and then B and then output Y. Here you can observe from 0 to 5 nanoseconds we are driving what we are driving here, this yellow color what we are having, this is going to be giving us at this particular value what actually is the value. Okay. So here if I place this from 0 to 5 nanoseconds, I am making my inputs as what? 0 0. Here at this 2.5 nanoseconds you can observe the value, it is 0 0, and if I place it over here this particular yellow line, you can observe A is 0 and then B is 1. Okay. Now you can see that from 0 to 5 nanoseconds it is what? It is both A and B are what? Both A and B are 0 0, and then from 5 to 10 nanoseconds it is 0 1, and then 10 to 15 nanoseconds it is 1 0, and then 15 to 20 nanoseconds it is 1 1. Okay. In the similar fashion you can observe the output. When A and B both are 0, my output is what? It is 0. When A and B are 1, A is 0 and then B as 1, again it is 0, but this particular output is going high when? It is going high at this particular time. When A and B, both A and B are 1 at this particular time, my output is going high. So this recommends me what? This shows me that this particular TV what we are having, this all these conditions have been verified and the output is proper, all these outputs. Okay. So this shows me what? This shows me how to simulate the things. Okay. How to simulate these waveforms. This is just a simple example what we have taken for this particular session, so that the understanding of Xilinx environment becomes easy for you. Okay. In the future classes we will take almost all the combinational circuit designs, and then we will try to will take most of the sequential circuit designs, and we will be taking some of the complex circuits which are there in the your digital design concepts. Okay. And then we will try to understand this Xilinx, how to use this Xilinx environment in a better way, that we are going to see in the future classes. Okay. And one more thing, if you want to get any updates regarding Verilog HDL with syllabus format and then video preferred textbooks, all the materials from these particular classes with the notes and all will be present in the Telegram channel. Okay. So the link for that particular Telegram channel is being given in the description below. Please join the Telegram channel so that you are being updated with the Verilog HDL course. Thank you.